The old red-bricked high school on the hill had been abandoned for years. Its windows were boarded up, the doors chained shut, and the playground overgrown with weeds. Yet every now and then, on stormy nights, passers-by swore they could see lights flickering in the upper floors and hear the faint echo of a school bell, long since rusted and broken. The school had been closed decades ago after a tragedy that no one liked to talk about. A fire had swept through the science lab during a late-night study session, trapping several students and a teacher inside. The town's attempts to save them were futile. Since then, the school had earned its reputation as cursed. But that didn't stop people like Jack, Emma and Ryan, three seniors from the nearby high school, from deciding it was the perfect spot for a dare. "Jack, come on, it's just an old building." Jack scoffed, shaking the bolt cutters in his hand. His flashlight beam cut through the dense fog rolling up the hill. "Emma, I heard people disappear in there. It's not just the fire. There's something else," Emma whispered, clutching her coat tighter around her. "Ryan, ghost stories to scare kids. Let's just do it and get out of here," Ryan said, though his voice wavered. They reached the main entrance, where a rusty chain hung loosely over the double doors. Jack snipped it with a metallic snap, and the doors creaked open on their own, revealing a dark, gaping hallway. Inside, the air was thick with dust and the scent of mildew. Their footsteps echoed unnaturally, as if the walls were swallowing the sound. Lockers lined the hall, their doors ajar, some hanging off their hinges. Faded posters clung to the walls, their cheerful slogans now warped and sinister under the flickering beam of their flashlights. "Jack, all right, we find the science lab, take a few pics and leave. Easy." As they ventured deeper into the school, the temperature dropped. The silence was oppressive, broken only by the occasional creak of the floorboards. They passed a classroom where rows of desks sat undisturbed, save for one that was overturned. A faint sound like the scratching of chalk on a board made them pause. "Emma, did you hear that?" Emma asked, her flashlight trembling in her grip. "Ryan, let's just keep moving." Ryan nodded, his face pale. They reached the science lab at the end of the corridor. The door was blackened with soot, and the glass window was shattered. Inside, the room was frozen in time. Burnt desks and equipment lay scattered, and the chalkboard was smeared with ash. But what caught their attention was a message written in pristine white chalk. "Get out! Emma, that wasn't there when we walked in." Emma stammered, backing toward the door. "Jack, someone's messing with us. Let's split up." "Maybe it's just some other kids trying to scare us," Jack said, though his bravado was clearly fading. "Ryan and Emma—" "No way!" Ryan and Emma protested in unison, but Jack was already moving toward the hallway. As they argued, a piercing sound split the air. A school bell, loud and shrill, echoing through the empty halls. "Emma, that's impossible. The bell doesn't work anymore." The lights flickered violently and the temperature plummeted. Shadows began to writhe on the walls, growing longer, darker. A low, guttural whisper filled the air, forming indistinct words. The three teens bolted for the exit, but the hallway seemed endless, twisting and stretching as if the school itself were alive. Lockers slammed open and shut on their own, spilling books and papers onto the floor. A deep, resonant laugh echoed behind them. "Jack, keep running!" Jack shouted, but his voice was swallowed by the growing cacophony. Emma tripped and fell, her flashlight rolling away. When she looked up, a figure stood over her. It was a teacher, her face burnt and disfigured, her hollow eyes staring straight through Emma. "Teacher, you're late!" the figure rasped, reaching out with a charred hand. Emma screamed as Jack and Ryan pulled her to her feet. They reached the main entrance, only to find it locked, the chains Jack had cut somehow restored. They pounded on the doors, screaming for help. Behind them, the whispers grew louder, chanting in unison, "Stay with us forever!" The next morning, the local police found the school's doors wide open. Inside, there was no sign of Jack, Emma or Ryan. Only 3 sets of footprints in the dust, leading into the school but never out. On the chalkboard in the science lab, a new message had appeared: "Class dismissed."